Hi everyone, and welcome to today's demonstration, which is making marbled stones out of 3D gel. As I have here on my own manicure, I've got three different colors, a purple, a light pink, and kind of a more brighter neon pink. You could also go more natural looking here. On this one I have white, some of that cream color, flesh color from like the roses, and some black. And in this sample here, I've added a little bit of blue to the stone. So 2 colors is best for this. Obviously, you want something to actually marble. So 2, 3 colors, 4 colors, you can add as many as you like to get your desired effect. In this case, I'm going to be using 3 colors. Once again, I've got these are off of, I believe it was AliExpress, and the number 5 color here, once again, is a bright kind of neon pink. The number 6 color is a very light baby pink. And the number 9 color is a gorgeous deep purple. Now, a couple of tools that you're going to need would be helpful to have a spatula or some sort of tool that you can pull out a little bit of the 3D gel. I'm also using my 3D mini brush from Crystal Nails. It's also called a cat tongue brush or acrylic 3D brush, and we'll be using that to help manipulate the gel. You'll also need some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, to wet your brush in and to also manipulate your gel. Now, over my sample here, I do have 2 coats of London Layover by IBD, and over that I have 1 coat of Koopa's Gelfinity Matte Top Coat. And that's the surface that we'll be applying our stone to. So I'm just going to be taking a little bit of the pink. The majority of the color is going to be the lighter pink. And again, just a little bit of the purple. Now I don't mind working with this with my fingers, so I'm just going to take that off the spatula with my fingers, and I'm going to lightly roll the gel. You don't want to press really hard into the gel. I'll show you what I mean. You don't want to press and you also don't want to kind of press it and then kind of scrape it across your fingers like that. Basically, what all this is going to do is blend those colors too much to where it basically will just start muddying all of the colors. You're going for a marbled effect here, so you don't want to do it this way. You want to simply do it this way, where you're simply gently rolling it around. You might just lightly flatten it to kind of get an idea of what the stone is going to look like. If you don't like the marbling that you see, just kind of move it around a little bit more. And again, just keep gently rolling, maybe flatten it out a little bit. And once you get it to a place where you like the marbling effect, then you're ready to go ahead and place that onto your nail. Now, once it's on the nail, I'm going to dip my mini 3D brush here in the alcohol. I'm going to blot most of that off. You don't want to have too much alcohol, just enough to keep the brush from drying out. This will help you manipulate the gel on the nail, and it will also help additionally help that gel stick to the nail as well, because the alcohol does kind of break down that gel a little bit. Now, as you can see here, that back side is a little bit too high. The front sloped down a little bit more. So we're going to use the belly of the brush in this direction to flatten out that edge and also to help push that product towards the center to where it's more like a natural cabochon stone. I'm just going to go for a triangle shape here. You can go for whatever shape that you would like. That's the beauty of making your own stones. You get to make whatever shape you want, and it conforms perfectly to the shape of your nail. You don't want to brush. You just kind of want to pat the gel. You don't want to brush it because that will start to kind of spread out those colors and blend them a little bit too much. So once you get your stone the way you like it and you cure it, it does kind of matte up a little bit once it's cured. If you would like a shiny stone, in case this, like I do, I am applying a very thin coat of the Accents top coat right over the top, just carefully going over that so I don't get it onto the matte part of the nail. And then I'm going to cure that. And there is your marbled stone. Very easy to do. Once again, you can do any shape. We're now going to move on to the lace design. I'm going to do a coordinating color with our purple here. So we're going to take our base gel color. Just enough to get our design finished. Now the polish on its own is too thin for the purposes that we want here. So I'm going to add a little bit of, this is a very thick white gel paint from First Gel. And I'm going to add a little bit of that to our gel polish. Again, that's thickening it up and lightening it up to give us a lighter coordinating color with our purple. This is about the consistency that you would be looking for. Too thick and we won't be able to make the fine lines that I'll show you that we'll need to make. I'm using this very, very fine line brush. I got it through Dance Legend. These come from Russia, and I will leave a link to where you can purchase them. Just be aware that it's not the easiest purchasing that I've done, but these brushes are really quite nice. Natural Kolinsky hair. I'm taking just the barest amount of gel polish and I'm making two kind of guidelines of where I'm going to have the lace end. And we're basically going to make spiral shapes. And I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I did not realize when I was filming this that I was getting some flares on the video. It's kind of washing it out, getting a little bit too bright. So I tried to cut out a lot of this where it got way, way too bright, but not cut out too much where you weren't seeing what I was doing. So basically right now, I'm just getting the outline of the spiral, and then I am going to come back and even all of those lines out. You want even spacing between your bands, your circles here. And also you don't want those lines to be too close together. And you'll see what I mean when we go to make the lace effect. So here, once again, I'm simply evening out those spirals. Trying to make all those lines a little more even. You can do as many of these as you would like. I kind of like the open spaces because I like to make the lines that look like additional threads throughout the fabric. I like that look, so that's why I'm leaving those extra spaces between the circles. And it's really easy to do. You just need a very, very light hand when you do it to make your lines as thin as possible. So I've taken almost all the gel polish off my brush, and this is still wet gel, so we're going to come through with the tip of that brush and we're going to pull, and again, very, very, almost no gel is left on that brush. I'm going to come through. I'm going to start generally in the center and using the lightest touch that I can, I'm pulling through those layers of wet gel and just pulling through a line. And I'm only going from the center to that outer band. I'm not extending past that because that's where I'm going to add those extra fabric lines a little bit later. You can go from the outer bands in, or you could go from the inner bands out. It's your preference. You want to do very fine, evenly spaced lines. And again, I'm just using a super light feather touch here to get the lines as thin as I can possibly get them. And this is what I meant by if your gel is too thick, you wouldn't be able to drag it through the gel as easily as you can when your gel is the perfect consistency of between kind of thick and thin. So there's our first one. I'm just going to go through and complete the other ones. All right, now I'm ready to make the longer lines for the fabric look between our shapes here. And again, I have very little gel on my brush, just enough to make those super thin lines. And I'm going to drag from the edge. I like to start with where the end of one of those lines meet to kind of help me do a guideline of where to start. And now we're going to make the lines going in the opposite direction. All right, there's our finished lace design, and now we're ready to go ahead and add some texture to this. I'll be using some clear acrylic powder. So once again, we're doing this before we actually cure the gel. You'll just sprinkle the acrylic into this. It'll be a sugaring effect if you use a... I wouldn't suggest using any glitter. Even micro glitter tends to be too much for this. I think it takes away from the lace. Now you don't want to do what I just did there, where I brushed up that tool against the lace, and I'm going to try and repair that. So be careful. Don't do what I did. But once again, you want to use if you want to use a acrylic that has a very fine pigment shimmer in it, that would be perfectly okay to use. But anything with even something that's called a micro glitter might be too much, be too big for this. It'll take away from the detail of your lace, in my opinion. You went through all the hard work to make that a beautiful design. You don't want to hide it with a bunch of glitter. So my little mistake there was salvageable, so I didn't have to redo that. So after I cure it for 30 seconds in the lamp, now I'm just brushing off the excess powder, and you're left with your beautiful lace design. All right, now we're ready to go ahead and add some gems. I'm using my first gel, Jam Gel. I like this because it has no sticky layer. And I'm using some caviar beads, silver, and I'm using some SS3 pink opal Swarovski stones. Just gonna outline the stone, and along the edges, those were our guideline edges we painted at first. Just paint that with a little bit of the gel, and then we'll just start adding our stones. Now you don't have to add crystals if you don't want to. If you have metal frames, I have a few metal frames that never knew quite what to do with them. You can basically fit your stone into that metal frame. You could do a foiled outline around the stone. All sorts of possibilities with that. Once you get your stones placed, go ahead and cure that. And there is our completed design. So as you can see, the possibilities with the 3D gel for making the marbled stones is really endless. It's good for making any size, any color combination that you would like. And then once again, the good thing is it conforms to your nail. Now in the next upcoming video, I'm going to show how to do the rosebuds as well as the full rose design, along with that That's another different type of lace look. I'll show you how to do that as well. So if you've enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. All links to products used will be down below. And as always, I do appreciate you watching. And until next time, I will see you guys later.